with this hearing and say on subject. And I now recognize Mr. Burchett from Tennessee.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Thank you for allowing me to be here. You know, much has been said about the number of trans athletes that are in sports today, or the lack of numbers, I guess. But I can tell you, there's a couple of ladies sitting right here who have been greatly affected by those very small numbers. One is not being able to pursue her passion of fencing, and the other lady has had a life-altering event occur to her because of it, and I take a little bit of offense to that, being the father of a very cool young lady. I just think that this is something that needs to be noted, and also a lot of distractions been made about cutting SNAP and all these other things, and Medicaid, Medicare, what have you. All anybody on our side of the aisle is talking about is cutting waste, abuse, and fraud. The only people that are talking about making any cuts are my friends cackling to my right and a few commentators on CNN. And all we're talking about is waste, abuse, and fraud. And you have to ask, America's going to have to ask themselves eventually, why in the world are the folks on the left so afraid of waste, abuse, and fraud being cut? I suspect because it's going to come back to somebody's pockets. So with that, I appreciate the time you've allotted me. Mr. LaFelt, did I say that name right, sir?
Close enough, sir. It's Layfelt.
Layfelt? All right, I'm
Yes,
Burchett.
sir.
Nobody ever gets it right, so.
It's a German name, sir, but a lot of people mess it up.
I'm not really sure what mine is. I just, East Tennessee. Let me ask you, while serving as chairman of the USA Fencing, you posted a very long pro-transgender manifesto on your blog. Let me ask you, why did you post this? And I would like to, for the record, put that on the record, Madam Chairman. Go ahead.
Without objection, so ordered.
Sir, I posted it in my personal capacity, just over the years having observed a lot of transgender women transition and the success that they had found in fencing and the purpose that it gave them in life.
Okay. And in the post, you mentioned you had no problem with your daughter facing a man in the sporting event. Is that true?
Sir, at this time she's 4 years old and hits me with a foam saber, but does not participate in fencing yet.
Okay. But when she is at the age where she would take this sport on, is that something you would think would be fair, that she would compete with a man?
Sir, we are one of the safest sports in the Olympic movements, and 34% of our events are mixed gendered.
I'm not talking about the safety issue. I'm just talking about the fairness issue, sir. I realize you cover up, and I realize nobody gets poked in the face anymore. I get that, but do you think that's fair? That's just a simple yes or no.
So long as the competitor has met all the hormonal requirements and complies with the policy, I would be okay with it, sir.
Okay. On Instagram, a commenter asked, are you okay with a cis female? And I don't like these terms. I had to look it up. A cis female is someone who's born a female, I believe is correct, meaning women. Are you okay with them being at a disadvantage? To which you replied, yeah. And to be clear, let's be clear, you'd be okay with a young lady or young woman being at a disadvantage or at a higher risk of being injured in any of these other sports?
Sir, thank you for giving me the opportunity to address that question. That was a question that required a far more nuanced answer than what I gave, and I appreciate having the opportunity on the committee to address that question. I want to be clear in saying that I expect anybody that is competing as a woman, as a transgender woman, that they meet the requirements as set forth in USA Fencing's policy.
Okay. Look, I hate to say I reclaim my time. It sounds like being a jerk, but I'm going to do that if that's all right with you, brother. Is it true that USA Fencing created an equality map? I know it was referred to either of states not to have events in because of what the democratically elected representative of those states voted for.
So there was a map policy that a few of your colleagues have referenced that was passed before I joined the board. It does exist, and it does not exclude any states from selection. To be crystal clear, we have had tournaments in numerous states that are listed in there, including Texas, Ohio, Florida, Missouri, et cetera. It does not exclude any states from selection, and We proudly host tournaments in those states.
Okay, well, I'm out of time. I apologize. Thank you, Chair Lady.
Thank you, sir.
The gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize Ms. Simon from California.